Have you ever felt like it's just a bit too much to keep up with all the things on social media, all the things that seem to be required to showcase or highlight your business? We can definitely relate to that. And sometimes it can just feel overwhelming at times, or like this is just too much. Does God really have it this way for us? And we believe that God has simplicity and ease for us. He's not going to require something from us that causes overwhelm or weariness. He wouldn't require that of our businesses, but He has equipped us with solutions, creativity, all the things we need to be able to run our businesses, to showcase them and highlight them. But it just comes with ease. And so we know that God has solutions for us. And we believe that one of them is B roll footage for our businesses. I feel like that's a creative solution that God has brought on the scene. And B roll, this is, things like that's been around for a long time and it's been used in so many different ways, uh, you know, all for a long time. But with how God has just brought solutions to social media with reels and TikToks and all of that, creating this short form video. The tools that God has given us is actually a blessing. I can remember when my husband and I, we had clothing stores, and this was really when the only thing available was Facebook, and that's it. And you couldn't create your own videos. You had to hire a team to come out and shoot a commercial for you. And it was really expensive. It was in the thousands. And so a lot of people did not have commercials. And so I believe that if we will look at the tools that God is presenting to us, then we can actually, if we look at them through solutions eyes, that God has actually given us this gift of short form video and these tools that help us create it. Um, you know, I think that even having music that we can connect with and things like that is not something that we had before. So I do believe that this is a blessing and that God brought on a solution, and one of them is B roll footage. So, in this episode, we are going to talk all about B roll and how we can create with it, how we can use it, and what it actually speaks. Like, what is God speaking through it? So, we welcome you to the Kingdom Female Entrepreneur podcast, where we hope to inspire you to become the kingdom entrepreneur that God designed you to be, build the business that God designed specifically for you, fulfill your entrepreneurial destiny, and release heaven's kingdom realm through entrepreneurship. I'm Kimberly Woods.
And I'm Jenna Schreiber.
And we are so glad that you're joining us for this episode. So at the end of last year, Jenna and I started talking about B-roll footage and that we needed to take it. And it's something that we did before. We've done it. We've done it for years, actually. Mm-hmm. When she would come, we would always take B-roll footage, but there was a different highlight on it, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like God was just kind of like, he was highlighting it. And God always highlights things to us beforehand. He starts to, he usually drops this like thought or this seed, and we usually come to the table. We come to our meetings, our virtual meetings, talking about the same thing. Like we either have a dream or it's something that God highlighted. And so we just started talking about this. Okay, we really need to start. It was like a new strategy for social media of things that needed to be taken. And so then this year, we started seeing it as a highlighted solution for social media content. Social media managers started talking about it. You need to take B-roll. We just started, it was just being highlighted. And even though something has always been, when you start to see things highlighted across the board, like when you start seeing multiple people start talking about the same thing, you really should pay attention to that, because I believe that it is God speaking on the earth. It doesn't matter if someone's a believer or not. Pay attention, because the Holy Spirit is moving on the earth, is speaking to people who are believers and people who aren't believers, right? So you really want to pay attention to those things. So we've learned to pay attention to when this starts happening and really be like, okay. And then we could see that, oh God, you were already speaking that to us. And so we want to give you and encourage you to just ask God, I something that I'm always asking God, and I believe that Jenna also does the same thing, is God, what is coming? What do you want me to get ahead of? What do you want me to see? What do you want me to be a part of? That's maybe future things that he wants you to partner with, to speak into, to pull forward.
Mhm.
What are those things? So we do that. and and I believe that the fruit of participating with God in that is that he speaks to us things ahead of time. He tells us, hey, you want to pay
Mhm.
attention to this. This is something that when you see it start being highlighted even more, you need to do it. You need to jump on it. And we serve female entrepreneurs. So we get to bring what God is speaking beforehand to help you and go, hey, here's a solution to a problem. And
Yeah.
so some things that I want to look at with B-roll, because I'm always I'm not just looking at the natural of why B-roll, what does it serve? Because there's like the practical things that B-roll serves, right?
Sure.
that we take it for, that we use it for. But what is God speaking through it? Because God is speaking all kinds of things. And why is this a solution?
Mhm.
So what I want to talk about that first. What do you what do you feel like, just like uh right now, because I did not prepare you with this part.
Okay.
What do you feel like B-roll speaks, like what is God speaking through it?
I feel like on one hand, it is like a sustainable solution
Yes.
for us who need to create content, even if we're not a content creator, like that's not our
Right.
specialty, because there are lots of accounts out there that they are content creators and they thrive in whatever content creation they need to do.
Yep.
But for me personally, like I consider myself a service-based business and an educator. And so, but I don't consider myself a content creator. But for me, I feel like it's this creative solution B-roll is, in order to create content to be able to connect with people more. So
Okay.
I feel like God is speaking to me that it's a strategy and a connection point
Okay.
where people can get a glimpse into my personality, my life, both in business and personally,
Yeah.
and be able to connect and kind of build a relationship and build trust through video that I'm not even speaking in.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
Well, I love it because I wrote down here. This is funny. I wrote down, why is it a solution and what is God speaking through it? And you just answered why it's a solution and what God is speaking through it.
I
I
felt
love
like
it.
I couldn't necessarily separate those
Yeah,
two. I feel like the answer goes so together.
I love it. That's so funny. Okay. So, yeah, I totally see what you're absolutely, without even having to say anything. How cool is that?
Mhm.
So, I do one of the reasons I think it's a solution is it is that ease. Anyone can do it, and
Mhm.
it's a creative solution, and it
Mhm.
brings that ability for anyone to be able to do it. Because
Yeah.
I would say I'm a service base. I have multiple in this season. I'm a service base, but also product base.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I have had to, and an educator, but I've
Right.
had to step into being a content creator,
Mm-hmm.
like a social media manager, also like for my husband's, for our family
Right.
business. And it's just so
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's interesting, but I love this because anyone can do it and it is
Yeah.
creative. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that is creative, it's creating something.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating something. What I think that God is speaking through it, one of the things I love that you said connection. It's pulling in connection and people can connect. I do think that totally see it doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it absolutely tells a story,
Yeah.
and your story is so powerful. Uh, for many years, I've been hearing entrepreneurs being led in the direction of, "Ay, uh, people don't want to hear about you."
Mm.
And people have been shamed to be quiet, stop talking about themselves, and only talk about their product or their service
Yeah.
because
Or the
people don't.
solution they provide others. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I think that that is not the full story, I think it's an and. I think instead of a lot of times what happens, and we can see this mimicked, and if you pay attention, we're in the entrepreneurial world, right? We're the kingdom, we're the church in entrepreneurship, in business, in this marketplace,
Yeah.
but we're the church, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The thing that I see is that this has also been something that's been told, in like, that a lot of believers have been told, kind of like you're it's not okay to be highlighted. It's not okay to show who you are. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like you're powerful and all these things, but you need to hide also. So there's like this double message of you're powerful,
Uh-huh.
but you need, I'm just going to go there. Okay.
I would call it false humility, is what I would call
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
like, but it's been taught, and
Yes.
that is being mimicked and spoken the same way that it is spoken in a lot of I'm just going to say churches, because that's where we normally are led, is like in a church, things like that. But there's also um biblical spiritual kingdom leading in at your home and businesses and
Mhm.
school, like, so it's not just in the church where you receive these things and this teaching and things like that. um but I see that as a problem because it's it's the same thing as you're free but you're not really free.
Yes.
You're fully free but you're not really free. You always have these problems and this stuff,
Yeah.
so it's like it is this double message. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like our testimony is powerful, and God says that our testimony is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that B-roll is a solution of a new way to tell a story, to
Yeah.
tell our story, because it's not fully each time someone tries to shut down an area of something or shames it, God's just going to bring in another solution of how to have it always there.
Yeah. That's a
And
good
so I
point.
do feel like, and
Mhm.
it's not that anyone's trying to shut it down like purposefully. It's just either what someone's taught and they copy, they hear it somewhere and be like, yeah, or it's just what we've been taught because if the church leads the way, if we're designed to lead the way, and the body of Christ, so the church, body of Christ, is speaking those things, there's
Yeah.
people that's learning those things, and it just
Yes.
goes into society. And so
So true.
society starts speaking those things.
Hmm.
They start saying, yeah, you don't need to have, we want you to have a voice, but no, not too much, or you don't need to talk about you, all those things. Okay. So
Hmm.
I think that B-roll is uh it B-roll is a solution to tell a story in a new way that fits what's either acceptable or embraced right now. That would be the language I would use.
Sure. Can I hit on a mindset that
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm pulling out of what you're saying?
Yes.
Is something that I've noticed in the people that I follow online on Instagram, TikTok, places like that. I have noticed that women who are in creative entrepreneurship realm, who I don't think that they're believers, I could be wrong. I don't see them having as much of an issue with showing up as
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
believers,
Yes.
because I don't think that they have heard the same instructional teaching that you've just gone over,
Yeah.
that believers who are in entrepreneurship
Yeah.
have heard.
Yeah.
And so I think the mindset that does kind of get into us as believers is, well, if I'm filming myself all the time, I'm being selfish, self-centered, it's all about me. And that's just not the truth. If God has called you to have this platform, this business, this message that he wants you to, shape culture by
Yeah.
and serve people with, then he has given you a call to show up and be a voice. Like,
Yes.
I'll even speak for myself personally. Like, I've really struggled with that
Oh yeah.
because I
Me
haven't
too.
wanted to be too seen, or for people to think that I think
Mhm.
too highly of myself, or
Mhm.
I think I know everything, or yeah, making everything about me by like videoing myself all the time or getting on and talking about things all the time. But the thing is, like, God has literally given me dreams telling me you need to be a voice.
Yes.
Like, you need to show up.
Yeah.
You need to.
Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage, especially anyone who's listening who is a believer and you felt that way, like you just haven't had that full, like, okay, I'm going to show up,
Yeah.
on video, whether it's through only B-roll or it's through actually like talking and sharing
Mhm.
your message and sharing about your services, products, whatever, your education, like, permission granted.
Yes.
Permission
Absolutely.
granted. Recognize that it's only a mindset that's holding you back. That's it.
Yeah, because if God's given you the go, if he's given you this business, and he's like, "Hey, go do it," and he's giving you the go, you can ask him, "How do you want me to show up?" You know?
Yes.
That you're right. Mindset is the only thing holding you back because people can't hold you back.
Yeah. You have to agree with it.
Yeah,
If
you
you're hearing things, like, it's your agreement with those things
yeah,
that's
so
holding
it's
you back.
agreeing with him, and
Right.
he says your testimony is powerful. Our testimony is so powerful, and the thing with B-roll is that it totally it tells a story that doesn't even have to use words. You could do a voiceover,
Sure.
absolutely, but you could just put music to it, you could whatever.
Text on the screen.
Yep.
Mhm.
It so tells a story, and so we just say, just freedom to that area to show up. Uh, Absolutely show up how God has designed you to show up. Your creativity, your personality, and I we know that we know those thoughts. We know that it can feel difficult, like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I'm showing up too much, or just all the things.
Mhm.
It's just got okay. No. But God, I do believe that God is speaking. B-roll is a solution for the time that we're in, and he's bringing a solution to be able to tell that story in our businesses, because yes, okay, we do see that, people like shorter form video, but there's still people that like long form content. There are just following what God's given you and what he how what he's leading you to is what you need to grab hold of.
Mhm.
Okay. So what do you think are some ways that B-roll can be, what does it do?
Um, just kind of reiterate what I said before. I
Yeah.
feel like B-roll is a really helpful connection point.
Okay.
It helps to communicate, depending on what you're showcasing in your B-roll. It can
Hmm.
communicate what you do, um, who you are, your personality, your lifestyle, like all of those things, which just helps
Hmm.
to build relationship with people online.
Yeah.
It's almost like going to like a networking event and the casual like initial rubbing elbows with people, shaking hands, like just your like a first almost like a surface level
Yeah.
experience with them.
Yes.
And yet you get a glimpse into who they are. Are they bubbly or are they more serious, or those types of
Right.
things,
Yeah.
right? But then it draws in your people
Yeah.
that you want to draw in
Yeah.
to more. So whether that more is your YouTube channel, your longer form videos, your services and products, like
Mhm.
actually working with you or buying from you, like it's just like an initial like handshake and connection point, and then you have the opportunity to build further from that.
Yeah, because it causes people to see, are you a cat person? Or are you a dog person?
Yes.
What kind of person are you? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, um, are you
Extrovert,
healthy?
introvert.
Right. Yeah. Like,
Uh-huh.
do you like healthy things? Do you, you know, what do you do? What is your, even your surroundings look like? What is your style?
Hmm.
People are drawn to those things and they can, I love how you like, so it's kind of like that networking thing. It's almost like the speed dating.
Yeah.
But like speed networking where it's like
Hmm.
you're finding out all the things about different things about people, and it's like, okay, I'm really drawn to that person. I'm drawn to their style,
Hmm.
um just like what they have behind them, what they're wearing.
Hmm.
um are they a Mac person or are they a PC? I mean, seriously, it's like,
Yes.
where can I connect? On what level can I connect with them? Are they a
Mhm.
Stanley Cup person or are they a Starbucks tumbler person?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes. So, I mean, it's just such a way to connect without, it's that networking type thing.
Mhm,
So, yes, I love it. So, we talked about how it's easy, it's sustainable and simple. We know that, we see that. Um, I think um, I think that we started out with reels and they were because it was so new and people were like, well, what do we even do with this? So it was kind of more complex.
yeah.
You have to lip sync and or and get that just right. And it took like forever. You might spend
Mhm,
one day on one reel. But what I think that we found through that is we found what worked for some people and what worked for other people. Some people, they are amazing at it and they actually love it. And
mhm,
that's their personality. And so we have to kind of like allow people to be fully themselves, embrace who God designed them to be and their personality, creativity. But
mhm.
B-roll allows for them, but also just everyone to participate in this. And so
Yes.
God brought a solution to a very overwhelming type thing that was introduced that was a
Mhm,
solution, because being able to create our own video is such a solution.
mhm,
When Chris and I were first putting together Wildwoods, when we were putting together our family business, he wasn't like fully in my world because he wasn't fully in like entrepreneurship since we had our stores.
mhm,
And so he didn't know what was available. I mean, he saw me creating these things, but he didn't fully know what was available. And so he was like,
mhm,
how are we going to create these videos and all that. And I'm like, honey, there's there's a solution that we didn't have. And it's so
Wow.
beautiful. The other thing is it's embraced to not be perfect,
Mm.
and so
Yeah.
we've been given this gift to not have to have everything perfect, but people actually prefer real life. And so
Yeah.
B-roll also adds to that. It's the real life. People want to see what you're up to, how you actually do the thing that you do.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it's also fun. What do you think? What is one reason why you love it?
Yeah, I love the ability to just give people a glimpse behind the scenes and that level of authenticity
Yeah.
that you talked about. Like I feel like especially for those of us who hold that as like a core value in our business or in our life as a whole, like
Hmm.
that's an excellent outlet to be able to be authentic
Yeah.
and showcase that. And
Mm.
I do a little bit of both. I do some of my own, filming a B-roll with just a very simple tripod and have my phone set up like I actually do right now. And yet, whenever I have brand photo shoots, sometimes I hire somebody to come out with me and get some behind the scenes B-roll footage for me so that I can give people a glimpse behind the scenes of what it's like to work with me. And then my clients can also add that on as an option because that's like, to me, it's compounding content for
Hmm.
an opportunity where they've already made such an investment into that time. Their
Right.
hair, makeup, the props, the setting, all the things are so branded that B-roll footage it's just like doubling the amount of content you get out of your day. And then they can utilize that for so many different things on social media and their websites and things like that. So to me, it's just this such an amazing opportunity to
Right.
compound content.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to touch on when you mention that it so many want to be authentic and it
Yeah.
allows them to do that. I also think that there is a great desire in many to for people to really know them, to be known
Yeah.
fully for like I think people have had to or felt that they had to hide,
Mm.
not fully show who they are. And I think that there's just this great desire, and I think that many move towards that.
Mm.
That I think many are sitting on words from God, like in their spirit,
Yeah.
that God has been nudging you to show your process. And
Mhm.
I'm one of them. I've gone back and
Same.
forth with I know that God's told me to show the process of something being put together. Show the
Yeah.
real, show what you really go through.
Yep.
And but yet, and I know this, but yet there's this can be this block at times. Like I know this, but I want to so much, but and so I think that there's people being presented with that. So, and I know that Jenna can relate to this part
Yeah.
of no, there's this great desire to uh, show fully the process, show behind the scenes, show you who you are fully.
Yeah.
And so I just believe that this is also a way um, to express that, to show that, and it's a
Yeah.
simple way for you to grab hold of that and actually do it.
Yeah.
It can
Agree.
be, yeah. Um,
Mhm.
for me, I entrepreneurship has to be fun, or I'm not. It has to be light, has to be fun. Yes, there's times that are frustrating. There's
Mhm.
times that you might feel like, why am I still doing this? Uh, there's all those things, but 75% for me has to be fun, lighthearted, or I'm not doing it. And one of
Yeah.
the things I love about B-roll is how fun it is and the people I get to do it with. Like I
Mhm.
brought my daughter-in-law with me and we went out for a business I have and she was part of the B-roll. And then she's like, oh, we could do this. Oh, let's wave at
Oh,
the
I
end.
love that.
And like, I'm not doing this if it's not fun.
Yeah.
And with Jenna, when Jenna comes, we set it up, we plan out our B-roll
Mhm.
footage, what we need to do. And it really just brings that fun side because
Mhm.
God is full of joy. It's not things don't have to be just serious and heavy and all this thing.
Mhm.
Um, so anyway, so we want to give you some ideas on some types of B-roll to consider. So Jenna, I want you to start.
Sure. So we kind of already hit a couple of these things. It could be like a day in the life, kind of show people behind the scenes what your whole day is like, prepping for work, during business, behind the scenes into whatever it is that you do, service, product, education, whatever. And the other thing that I really love that we get to do for the Kingdom Female Entrepreneur whenever I come to visit is we actually think about what type of messages do we want to tell in these
Mhm.
videos. Just like we would plan out like a brand photo shoot, we're planning out a brand B-roll and photo shoot together.
Mhm.
And so I think that that is it's a high end way to do B-roll
Yes.
and a way to do it very professionally too, not to negate any of the lesser
Mm-mm.
professional part of it, because I think both are needed.
Absolutely.
But that's a professional way. So plan out what messages do you want to tell through
Mhm.
B-roll and capture it. Go,
Yes.
and find some fun
Have
places that
fun.
you can capture it. It doesn't always have to be in your home or office workspace. You can go out and do it at a cool shopping center. We went to a hotel.
Yes.
Go in nature, like
Yeah.
especially if your brand. I have a friend who her brand is very like nature and wellness focused, and she does a lot of like B-roll while she's hiking and walking and
Oh, that's
enjoying like
nice.
the side of the lake and things like that. So the possibilities are endless, and
Yeah.
those would just be my suggestions:
I
is
love
think
it.
about day in the life, behind the scenes, and some professional messages.
Yeah, I love it. So, I
Hmm.
love that when Jenna comes, we do plan out we do some a lot of spontaneous stuff. "Oh, this would look good."
Hmm.
But we plan out, like, what's coming up? What are we promoting? Like, we were about to, introduce the podcast. What needs to be for that? We were having a name change. What B-roll, what's gonna speak this new brand?
Hmm.
Um, all those things. And, just things for our personal, um, with Jenna, she's a branding photographer. And so when she's here, I take the behind the scenes of her photographing her clients and them bringing their stuff in
Hmm.
uh, to set up and then them setting up. So I'm taking all those type of behind the scenes for her. And she's also does like coaching. So we would, okay, what's going to speak that? Does
Yeah.
she need to be meeting with somebody
Hmm.
and thinking about those things? For me, I have the Kingdom Female Entrepreneur, and so we take all that type of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Um, so teaching, what I do a lot of training, and so what does that look like for me behind the scenes of prepping
Mhm.
what I'm going to teach on? If I'm at a workshop, somebody think I'm grateful for it. They're there and they're taking
Yeah.
setting up process
Mhm.
while we're teaching the after part when everyone's just talking. That's all just B-roll footage. Product based businesses, I have two of those, and we take behind the scenes of creating the product. Um, just even like when family comes over to visit our studio, you know, all those things. Like another thing is our kids smelling a new scent for the first time,
It's
setting up the
fun.
camera and actually
Mhm.
capturing what that looks like of them. What's the engagement? But you don't have to be talking. It's just total like behind the scenes. So
Mhm.
You can plan out, but also being spontaneous, having fun, getting out there. And definitely, we want to encourage you to use B roll footage, start using it, start taking it. You could just put text and put a song that inspires you
Mhm.
behind it. Let us know what was highlighted to you through this. What
Yeah.
are some of your ideas? Because your ideas can help other people have new ideas. So let us
Yeah.
know, what are some of your ideas? What has been highlighted to you? And let us know in the comments. And we just bless you with ease in creating this process that you get to actually partner with God and step into this new season of just a new way, an old way and an old way, an old process in a new way is what I feel
Mhm.
like he's allowing us. It's something that's already been created, but he's giving us a new way to step into it. And so if you create some B-roll and you maybe want to even tag us in your comments section, like
Mhm.
tag us in the comments section and be like, look what I created. Isn't this cool? We
Be
want to see it.
awesome.
We want to see your ideas. You don't have to tag us in the video, tag us in the comments and we will find you. We'll see it. The Kingdom Female Entrepreneur. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and right here on YouTube. So we bless you with ease, and we believe that God's going to give you some great footage, things that you're like, I cannot believe I captured that. I'm so grateful I have that. It's going to tell a story. It's going to be powerful. And so,
Mhm.
if this inspired you and encouraged you, be sure to share this YouTube channel with a friend and go ahead and subscribe. And until next time, we bless your entrepreneurial journey.